Okay, November 5th, 2024, Election Day. If you can't tell by my sticker, I just voted. I am heading my ass to the gym now. Because I can. And because it's a beautiful day out. It's like 75 degrees out, according to my car thermometer. Unheard of for November 5th. So I want to take advantage of that by pumping iron for the third day in a row. That's cool. I also want to talk about that I voted for the Democratic Party. I voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I feel like the majority of this town voted Republican because I overheard them talking about it. And I also overheard older people like messing up their ballots. One person, ooh, there goes a bunch of squashes in front of me. What the fuck are these? Those look like, I think that's squash, right? The orange vegetable fruit that's like oblong, kind of vaguely dick-shaped. I'm following a truck right now with no cover on it. It's packed full to the brim with fucking squash. And they keep flying over the side of it because they've loaded it lopsided. Yeah, I guess squash is cheap, eh? Yes. But yeah, somebody left their ballot in the machine and apparently printed double-sided, and it spit it back out again, and the person left. So they ended up trashing it, or what do they call it? Muddying it or something like that. Basically just throwing it out. I don't like those sounds. But yeah, man. I think Kamala's gonna win. And I have high hopes that she is going to win. Enough said about that, because I don't have the knowledge base to talk about politics off the cuff. But I am more coherent today than my last video. Last video, I was out of work, was exhausted, and I was stoned, as I usually am at the end of my work day. Obviously sober, I can string together sentences much easier. So. Feeling good today. I haven't smoked at all. Speaking of weed, I've not smoked at all yet. 10:52 a.m. Kind of wanted to when I woke up, but no one else around me was really doing it, so like I didn't want to smoke up the air when it was already smokeless. It just seems kind of rude to me to smoke when nobody else is smoking. You know what I mean? I think that's a good rule of thumb for me to follow, is not smoke unless I see somebody else smoking. But that is until I have to quit entirely. And at that point, I'll just have to ignore it completely. For now, when it comes to waning, just only smoke when other people smoke. And don't smoke for as long as you can. I usually end up giving up around like late afternoon, evening anyway, which is still good, but still progress in my book. We're gonna get there eventually, though. I just it's gonna be hard to quit entirely without moving first. I feel like once I leave the house where everybody smokes, it's gonna be so much easier to quit. So much easier. Surrounded by triggers. I try to ignore them. I try to ignore them. But like every now and then I gotta give in. So I'm just gonna leave that there, because I also want to talk about the computer that I bought yesterday. It was kind of an impulse buy. It pretty much was an impulse buy. I mean, I've been thinking about buying a fucking high-end, high-performance gaming PC for months now. And this week was the first week that I actually had like $1,500 in my bank account. Most money I've had in a long time, so it was really hard to tell myself, nope, don't do it, don't do it. Because there was this PC at Newegg by a company called Hohengager. It's probably German, it's probably pronounced something like Hohengager or something like that, but it looks like Hohengager to me. And I was indeed engaged by this machine. I think it told me I saved like 36% off for buying it now. And it gave me a hardware selection. So like I could choose between a couple different GPU selections, CPU selections, as well as RAM size. And I basically maxed out everything. Like I maxed out my RAM. The highest selection was 32 gigabytes, so I selected 32 gigabytes. The highest CPU selection they had, though, was AMD Ryzen's, which I know fucking tech geeks are gonna tell me they're not that great, but like, apparently when it comes to single-core CPUs, it's pretty damn good. And I actually had to think about that, because I do want to get back into 3D design and development. And multi-threading cores are pretty much necessary for rendering, whether that be, you know, rendering a large, high polygonal 3D model, or compiling code. I mean, that never takes much time. That's a bad example. Video editing, I guess. But I don't know. The only thing that you really need a multi-core CPU for is like high effort rendering of 3D shit. Especially like 3D animations. I imagine that's gonna take fucking forever. Try to animate a 3D object. But you know what, man? It's not like I'm a professional. I'm a newbie beginner to that shit. So like I can afford waiting to render things, I think. My GPU selection, I'm very proud of. This will be the first time I have ever owned an NVIDIA GeForce anything. And this is a 4060. Not a 4070. I know 4070 stopped the line, but dude, for just choosing a 4060, you get like $200 trimmed off of your price point. And I've seen the benchmarking between 4060s and 4070s, and it's not that huge. I mean, again, I'm not a professional. I can afford to have like the last year's generation. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just happy for what I'm getting. All in all, it was like $1,200 something, which very steep price for technology. And it left me with only like 100 something left in my bank account, but that should be enough to carry me until next payday. Especially if I keep working overtime. Because, big brain move, you don't have to pay for groceries if you're always eating at work. And yeah, they usually have some pretty decent shit there, man. So I didn't really pay for groceries at all this weekend. And I think that's why. Looking back on every single week that I've spent before now, it's not like I've been doing anything productive anyway. I've been valuing my free time a lot. My 3-day weekend free time. essentially just been doing nothing those times. Work chores, personal chores, buying weed, smoking weed. That's just a waste of time, to be honest with you. I hate to admit it, but working is probably the best use of my time. I don't like working. Can't imagine who does. But working makes me money. And working an extra day is a difference between like $200 to $300, I think. I mean, that's kind of exaggerating. I haven't done the math. $200 for sure, though, just for like working an extra day. And like logically, it's hard to talk yourself out of working that much. Feels wise, though, I'm like, it's a third day, you know. Wouldn't mind just laying around and doing absolutely fuck all for a third day. But no, I should make better use of my time. Making money is a good use of your time, even if it is just $18.78 an hour. It's still like more money an hour than I've ever fucking made in my life so far. And I should not cast that aside. Thinking if there's anything else I need to talk about. New PC, I voted, I'm going to the gym. Overtime. I'm very proud of myself for working overtime. I am. I didn't really do it at all last year. Kind of talked myself out of it, but now with the high, the raise, the work raise, I think this is a good thing to do. This is a school zone. I gotta make sure I'm going school speed. Oh, well, the last thing, I told myself November 3rd that I was going to make art today. I don't know why I laugh at that, but just like, maybe it's because I feel like it shouldn't even be announced. It's a weird thing to announce, but it's something that I have to fucking push myself to do because it's not something that I see the immediate joy in. I don't see the immediate joy in hanging out by myself and playing music in a house that used to be my own. Speeding! Whee! That guy was going way too fucking slow. I gotta promise myself that I'm gonna sit and listen to music in a room alone without internet. Because if I don't, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna sit in my room, smoke pot, and idle away while either playing card games or jacking off, I guess. I'm kind of tired of wasting time. Because this waste of time makes me feel like a non-autonomous person. Makes me feel like an NPC. I don't feel like I have any self-expression when all I do is indulge myself in escapism. Well, not just feel, but I basically am just an NPC when I endlessly indulge in escapism. So I'm gonna try to be creative today. I'm gonna try to express whatever the fuck is on my mind in the moment, and whatever the fuck it is that I'm doing, whether it be drawing or making music, or painting, or even writing. That's all I do today is write. And I'm gonna write. But first, I'm gonna exercise. I'm gonna push weights. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.